Hello, this is the Captain Paxo, with a slightly different style of video. Kind of maybe in a similar style to, I can't remember what I called it. Basically just going to be talking about my general thoughts and feels on Destiny and Destiny 2. With a little bit of context for why I feel this way. So, Bungie, the creators of Halo, right? I love me some Halo. Right? It's the reason why I got the Xbox 360, you know. Although I was a little bit late to the party, you know. The first Halo game I owned was Halo Reach, although the first one I played was 3. Absolutely love those games. Beaten Reach on Legendary Solo, beaten 3 Legendary Co-op and Heroic Solo. The only Halo game I don't own is 2, which makes me very sad, but that's just how it goes. Ton of hours in the multiplayer for Reach, like an absolute humongous amount of hours. I've played so much Invasion, so much Firefight, a lot of Slayer, and Forge, freaking Forge. I love Forge. I love map editors of any sort, and Halo Reach Forge was probably one of the best to this day. I still occasionally go back to it and go, oh, let's mess around and try and make a cool map, and then I make something that's just kind of shitty. I've made a few decent maps, but most of them are just shit. Love me some Halo. So much fun. So many good memories of playing like custom games like Hot Pursuit, Crash Up Derby, Speed Halo. Oh, so good. I fucking love Halo. So understandably, when Bungie announced their new title, Destiny, it's like, oh, hype. What are Bungie gonna be doing next? You know, they're gonna make like this massive like MMO shooter universe that's just gonna be epic because it's Bungie and they do epic so well. Hype, you know, like one of the best sci-fi shooter developers with the publisher with the most amount of money. Yeah, one of the developers with the highest amount of money and resources in the industry. What could possibly go wrong? And then Destiny releases, and it's painfully average. Kind of depressingly average. In fact, less than average. So much so that I've come to hate the game. I kind of like how it plays, but just playing it makes me so... Oh, what would the word be? Like, groggy, just distasteful, angry, upset, all sorts of things. It just makes me very uncomfortable to play because I don't like it. I don't like what Bungie Vision have done with it. They've fucked up in my eyes, and I don't trust them to make Destiny 2 well. You know? I want them to make the greatest goddamn game ever. I want them to learn from their mistakes of Destiny 1. But I don't trust them. I just don't trust them, considering that they literally stripped content out of the base game of Destiny 1 and then sold it to us as DLC. I have no faith. I've lost all of my confidence in Bungie Vision, and I'm gonna skip out on buying Destiny 2 day 1. I'm gonna skip out on its first 2 DLCs. I'm gonna wait for the equivalent of the Taken King, because you know they're gonna bundle their equivalent of the Taken King with the base game. You know they're gonna do it because they did it with the first game and it was a massive success. So I'm just gonna save a bunch of money by waiting and buying that. You know, I'm not exactly gonna be missing out on much. And it just, it sucks. This is Bungie we're talking about. Like, Bungie not delivering high quality? What world do we live in? Oh, the world where greed rules, actually. Here's the world we live in. What can you do about it except vote with your wallet and go, I'm not gonna buy this shit? Because that's what I did with Destiny 1. You know, I didn't buy the first 2 DLCs. I bought the Taken King Collector's Edition, and, well, I saved a bunch of money. Like, even though I bought the game again, I saved money, which is just ridiculous. You know? So I definitely advise waiting on Destiny 2, because you're not exactly getting anything by pre-ordering. Like, I was looking at the PlayStation store to see the pre-order stuff, and I noticed it said in-game purchase is optional, which basically means there's going to be microtransactions, you know? And then also, like, the pre-order, like the super mega deluxe stuff, what you get is like a legendary sword that's not going to be useful in like 6 months time when they release the DLC, and it becomes redundant, becomes obsolete, becomes useless. You get a stupid emblem, and then some other cosmetic that no one really cares about. Oh, it's like a dance move. Yeah. Cheers, Bungie. Vision. I can't remember how much it was worth, considering the price of the base game and the price of the season pass. I can't quite remember how expensive the cosmetics were, but it's not worth it. Just not fucking worth it. It's pointless, you know? But Destiny 1. I have history with this game. Aside from the hype that followed from the Halo series and Bungie Vision going off to work on Destiny, all that sort of hype. So this was 2014, obviously, when Destiny released, and it was also my first year of sixth form, which in the UK, sixth form is what you do when you're 16 to 18. You go on like a 2-year course and get your A levels. You're sort of still in school, but you're given more free reign over what you're doing. You're given more free time, essentially. So yeah, I was just starting my first year of that, and the school that I went to, its sixth form was joint with another school. So the two schools, like they do their own separate things until it gets to sixth form, where they don't have enough students or just resources in general to be able to do sixth form independently. So they come together to form a joint sixth form, and then all of a sudden they do. And what ends up happening for the students is you have lessons in both sites. So like physics might be, or like half of your physics might be at site A and the other half might be at site B, you know? That sort of thing. Which is kind of hilarious because during my second year, all of my lessons were on the other site, so I had to get the bus there and back every single day, which is a pain in the ass, but it's all relative. I got used to it pretty quick. But that's besides the point. But it also allows you to meet entirely new people who you've never met before because they were in a different school. You know, they were in a different town. And of course, I met someone who I ended up getting a crush on. And this was like my first crush. Like, I'm not someone who gets crushes. I don't really fancy anybody ever. So this was like the first time this had happened. So I don't know what the fuck to do. I don't know what's going on. But I end up asking the girl out, and then a series of miscommunications happen, both my fault and her fault, kind of a joint effort of failings. And bad things start to happen, you know? Like, so I kind of stopped enjoying my time at school because of that, like everything going on with that. But also Destiny had released, and I was slowly not enjoying Destiny and slowly figuring out, like, hang on a minute, they've cut out like half of the game here to sell to us as DLC. So I stopped having fun at home because Destiny was the only game I wanted to play, because it was what my heart desired at that time. Like, I just wanted to play Destiny because I'd been excited for this for like 2 years. But I didn't want to play it because I hated the fact that there was nothing to do in it. So, you know, I wanted to play it, I wanted to enjoy it, but I just couldn't. So I started to really dislike my time at home because of Destiny, but then I was also hating my life at school because of this girl, you know? Which is just great, isn't it? It's like, oh, I can't enjoy my life at school, can't enjoy my life at home. What the fuck is this shit? So that was like easily the worst Christmas of my entire life. And I stopped playing Destiny at that point. I didn't pick up the DLC until The Taken King came out and the Better Deal came out. And something that was kind of a consequence of all of the things going on in my life at this time was I was listening to a band called Shinedown a lot, namely their album Amaryllis. Fantastic album, would recommend it to anyone. But you see, I was listening to that album on repeat, pretty much non-stop, whilst I was playing Destiny and whilst I was at school and all of that sort of stuff. So in association, I started to dislike that album. Even though it is a fantastic album, I find it quite difficult to listen to without it provoking some uncomfortable memories. You know, like there are some uncomfortable memories that it provokes, but there are also some interesting kind of nostalgic memories that it provokes. Like, I have vivid memories of listening to the song Adrenaline, whilst flying around on Mars looking for spirit blooms. You know? So weird. Like, I listen to Adrenaline and I have vivid memories of flying around Venus. And then, likewise, with the song Through the Ghost, you know, I have vivid memories of flying around on Mars, looking for relic iron, whilst listening to Through the Ghost, you know? And it's just one of those incredible things of, like, how powerful music is, because it can provoke these sort of incredible memories that I'm not sure how I feel about them. It's nice because it's a weird nostalgic feeling, but at the same time, I hate Destiny, and I hated the time of my life that I was in when I was listening to these songs. So I don't know, maybe it's like, oh well things are better now, you know. It's like that time has passed. I'm in a much better place. I don't know. It's interesting, to say the least. And Destiny, one thing Destiny does do well, and I have to give it props for, is it creates memories. It creates very interesting memories of playing the game and just doing even mundane tasks. You know, like I said, flying around on Venus looking for Spirit Bloom whilst listening to Adrenaline, and flying around on Mars looking for Relic Iron whilst listening to Through the Ghost. Just random crap like that. Like, I have a memory on the moon where I was flying around on my Sparrow, and I ended up flipping my Sparrow, and it kind of wedged me into a rock, and some physics happened, because it's Halo physics, isn't it? I ended up getting catapulted into the sky about 30 feet, and right below me were two knights. I had my super, fired my super, Warlock, so Nova Bomb, right in the middle of both of them, blasts them away, kills both of them, and I land on the ledge behind them. And it's just that sort of moment of like, that was really cool. It wasn't intended, you're not meant to be able to skyrocket 30 feet into the air, but because I squished against a rock, and it forced that, and I had my super, look down, blast them, land on a ledge behind them, feel like Superman, you know? Awesome. But then I also have a really cool memory on Venus, where I was doing my thing, you know, listening to Adrenaline, looking for Spirit Bloom, and I noticed these guys were trying to get into the Vault of Glass. Now, back then, 2014, friends? What are those? You know, none of my friends really had PS4s, nor played them. I didn't know anyone who actually played Destiny, and I wasn't about to go ask some strangers like, hey, let's do the raid, you know. I wasn't that sort of person back then. I don't think I still am, you know. So I never did the raid, but these guys were trying to get into the Vault of Glass, so I was like, you know what, I know how to do this. I've seen a playthrough of it on YouTube. I can help them. So I helped them out, and then I was like, okay, cool, they're in the Vault of Glass now. Bye. Kind of wave them off, get on my Sparrow, fly around. Oh, that was pretty cool, you know. And then I get a party invite, and they're like, hey, you want to do the raid with us? I was like, oh, yes, please. Let's do the raid. And that just turned into something super cool. Like, I just randomly helped these guys get into the Vault of Glass, have no intention of actually doing the raid, and then they're like, hey, you know, you seem pretty capable. Why not join us? I was like, oh, yes, please. And then I ended up beating the Vault of Glass that day. I had no idea it was going to happen, but thanks to just how the entrance of the Vault of Glass works, it just allowed that to happen, you know, which was awesome. Super cool. I've only ever played the raid that once, though. Like, that was the only time I've ever done it. But it was badass, you know? Like I said, that's something that Destiny does really well, is that it can invoke these memories. But unfortunately, there's just... the game's really kind of mundane for me at this point. I don't really enjoy it because of, you know, stuff that happened in my personal life and stuff that happened with, like, the hype and the disappointment and finding out about the cut content and just getting really angry at Bungie Vision for not delivering the game that I wanted them to. So there's a part of me that wants to get Destiny 2 to like have these memories of playing day one, to sort of be able to say I was there when, which is what was said, like, oh, Destiny's all about being able to say I was there when, and it is true to an extent, but the part of me that's holding me back is like, what kind of incentive is that? Like, what? I don't know, it doesn't feel significant. There's a part of me that really enjoys that kind of thing. Everybody does it. It's an experience, it's something new, it's a story that you can tell, but realistically, who's going to want to hear that story? Who's going to really care? You're not really going to have many of those stories, going by what Destiny 1 has done for me. Like, yes, I do have a couple of stories, but not many. In fact, most of my stories come from what happened in my personal life and the cut content, you know? And the fact that it is all about, like, being able to say I was there when, that's just an ego thing. It's an ego inflation, where it's like, oh hey, this was a cool random thing that happened that wasn't really in my control, and I just sort of feel like I'd rather be able to say, like, hey, you know, I've beaten Halo Reach Legendary solo. You know, I spent 2 weeks playing with one of my friends on Halo 3 to beat that on Legendary, and we weren't even trying really, we just managed to do it. You know? Being able to say, oh yeah, I've played, I've extracted on Mass Effect 3 multiplayer on Platinum. Super cool. You know? I'm able to do things that others are not, rather than being able to just tell a random story about some random time that some random thing happened on some random planet whilst you're doing some random task that anybody could do if they just got lucky, you know? So, I don't want to... I'm gonna hold off on getting Destiny 2, like I said, wait until the equivalent of the Taken King comes out. I'm not gonna be missing out on much, I can pretty much guarantee it. Because I could save that money, get something like... I don't know, what's a game I want? I know, God Hand. I could get God Hand, and then start playing that, and then get good at that in the time it takes for the equivalent of the Taken King to come out, and then I can say, hey, check it out, I can play God Hand, and then I could get Destiny and still have those kind of like, hey, this random thing happened whilst I was doing this mundane task that anybody could do. But I can also play God Hand, you know? So that's pretty much my story of Destiny and how I feel about Destiny 2. Oh, another thing, Cait 6. Like, a lot of people love Cait 6, and I think he is a cool character. Like, he brings some much needed humor to the game, but I feel like he's a character whose sole purpose is just to get a cheap laugh out of the player. He's not really an actual, like, he's not a character with a lot of depth. He's just there to give a cheap laugh to the player, and I don't like that. I think they could do some really interesting stuff with Cait 6 and all the other characters, but they just use him as the class clown, you know, the comedian. He's not there to make you think, he's there to make you laugh, and that's it. Which, I guess that's something else that I wasn't too happy about with Destiny, was the story, or lack thereof, you know. But then I feel like everybody recognizes the lack of story. Or at least most sensible people do. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on Destiny and Destiny 2 as of now. Maybe I will have something more to say in the future, I don't know. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.